Obviously, I can't do the rest in peace as well as the Undertaker would do, but this video is strictly Undertaker related, man. Today, I'm going to break down and discuss what I believe are the top 10 best Undertaker WrestleMania streak matches in order. This list honestly may piss some people off because my list I feel like is going to be very different than a lot of people's, because I've seen certain people's rankings and certain people have certain matches in certain places, which respect. You can have whatever you want. It's your ranking. But for me, my taste is a little bit different, and this is just strictly how I feel his best streak matches are in order. Before we start, as always, make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above below, man. Turn on the notifications for this YouTube channel to be updated with all wrestling content and to be updated with the podcast that I'm a part of that we do every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time Zone, the No Name Wrestling Podcast. We also allow our viewers to come in and engage sometimes to be a part of the pod. So if you ever want to come in and chat, debate, make sure you guys subscribe and be on the lookout for that. Let's dive into this streak list, though. I feel like my list is definitely going to get critiqued and positive views at the same time, but hey, I welcome all the energy. One thing I want to touch on real quick, it's pretty crazy how Undertaker really didn't start peaking at WrestleMania until like his mid-30s, like early 40s, when he really started to have his best WrestleMania matches. Like when he was a lot younger, they were pairing him up with Giant Gonzalez, King Kong Bundy and stuff. Like, he's wrestling a bunch of people that just aren't on his level to be able to compete at a WrestleMania, which is why, you don't see too many good Undertaker WrestleMania matches from the 1990s. But 2000s, man, Undertaker was cooking, man. He was cooking in the kitchen in the 2000s, so all the matches you pretty much are going to see are in the 2000s, some maybe in the early 2010s. Let's go ahead and start off red hot. I got number 10, WrestleMania 18 against the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. The second best match on this WrestleMania behind Rock and Hogan, of course. Ric Flair was starting to kind of dabble his feet back into the water to get back into the ring as an in-ring performer in his 50s. Even though he was past his prime at this time, he could still go in the ring if he was in the ring with the right individuals, and obviously Undertaker is a living legend in the professional wrestling business, and for him to come back to work with Undertaker at WrestleMania, it was a very good pairing. The storyline angle was pretty good and appealing. Ric Flair being a father and having to defend his son's honor after Undertaker would attack his son David Flair, who was training to become a professional wrestler at the time, attacking his good friend AA Arn Anderson, who has the best spine buster in pro wrestling history. Undertaker kind of taking it to a personal level he didn't really need to take it to, but being the heelish bad guy that he was, it was only right for the storyline, and they had a pretty good match, man. And this was like the first time I think the streak was really acknowledged, with Undertaker holding up the 10 at the end, signaling that he was 10-0 at WrestleMania. At number 9, we have WrestleMania 17, which a lot of people consider the greatest WrestleMania of all time, still to this day, against Triple H. A lot of people may not know, but Undertaker and Triple H had 3 matches at WrestleMania. This was the first one they had. This was pretty good as well. The story angle leading up was decent, okay. I remember, Triple H, kind of trashing Undertaker's motorcycle and throwing it off the stage and everything, and this is when Taker was still doing the American Badass gimmick. Taker and Triple H always had great chemistry in the ring to me, really enjoyed their matches throughout time, and this was very Attitude Era-ish type match vibes, fighting into the crowd and everything. Like, majority of Attitude Era pay-per-view matches that you will see, there's at least a fight in the crowd for at least 3 matches on the show, if we're going to keep it a buck. Like, majority of Attitude Era matches, you will see them go into the crowd, fight and everything, because crowds are red hot at that time, you know what I mean? Like, Attitude Era was peak pop culture for WWE and just the world in general at that time frame, and these two had a great match. If it wasn't for Rock and Austin, I probably would have said they would have had match of the night, but overall, pretty good match that executed very well. Now let's get real spicy. At number 8, I have WrestleMania 29 against CM Punk, and the reason I said let's get real spicy, I know how a lot of people feel about this match. A great match, but it's a little overhyped to me. I feel like a lot of people have this ranked way higher than it should be. It's not a bad match, but I've seen Undertaker have better matches at WrestleMania with other opponents to me that we'll dive into a little later. I have this at number 8. This was the last match that we know the streak was alive before Brock Lesnar would break it, the next year in 2014. Very good match between Punk and Taker, though. It does suck that CM Punk didn't get to main event WrestleMania that year as WWE Champion, because he should have, but nonetheless, Undertaker, even though he still had that mohawk look, which I really hated for his gimmick, but he was still able to go in the ring at the time and perform well and put on good matches, and he did just that with CM Punk. But I do think Undertaker had better matches with other people at WrestleMania, so I can't put this match higher for me, because there are people who have this match like in his top 5, some maybe even top 3, which I respect people's opinions. That's your opinion, but for me, my personal opinion, I think Undertaker had better matches with other people, which we're going to get into right now. At number 7, WrestleMania 24 against Edge, one of the most slept on and underrated WrestleMania main events of all time. Edge and Undertaker in 2008 had great matches with the great stretch: WrestleMania, Judgment Day, One Night Stand in the TLC match, and of course SummerSlam, their Hell in a Cell match. Great feud, great matches, and this was interesting going into this, because going into this match, Undertaker had never beaten Edge, and Edge was also undefeated at WrestleMania going into this match. So, you know, I guess you could say the bar was raised against Taker, but I still don't think many people really thought Edge was going to win. I have heard the backstory that originally they had Edge planned to beat the streak, but he turned it down and refused. Much respect to him, you know, because the streak was just so iconic and important, and it's just like, how can you have Undertaker lose at WrestleMania? Some people felt he still should have never lost at WrestleMania, which I completely understand, but this was a very good match, man. Very slept on. To me, it's one of the most underrated WrestleMania main events that does not get enough love as it should. At number 6, I have WrestleMania 21, my personal favorite all-time WrestleMania against Randy Orton. Legend versus Legend Killer. This is also a very underrated feud in the year 2005, one of my all-time favorite feuds that I feel like also was kind of slept on. It doesn't get the respect that it should. Undertaker and Randy Orton had good chemistry together. This is when Randy Orton was still very young and upcoming, but you knew the future was definitely 1,000% bright for young Randy Orton going up against the ultimate legend, the locker room leader, like the godfather of wrestling, the Undertaker. And my gosh, they tore it down, man. I'll never forget when he countered that chokeslam into that RKO. One of the best RKOs I've ever seen, still to this day. I mean, everything about this match was just sensational to watch, man. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you check it out. WrestleMania 21 is one of the best WrestleManias in history by far, and this is one of the best matches on the show. Now let's get into the top 5. At number 5, I have WrestleMania 23 against Batista. To me, this was the best match in WrestleMania 23. People always kind of debate back and forth between this match and John Cena vs. Shawn Michaels in the main event. Love John Cena vs. Shawn Michaels, but I always felt Batista and Undertaker stole the show, and they did just that. I mean, Batista, Undertaker, which is very, very good. Also an underrated feud in 2007. Maybe even feud of the year if you were watching around that time frame. You go back and look at it. Batista was at the pinnacle, at the top of the mountain, at the best of his career and his peak. And Undertaker was still able to go in the ring at an elite level, where he was just putting on great matches pretty much at WrestleMania year by year, and the streak was a huge deal at this time. And Batista, being the Animal, was definitely a huge threat to possibly beating Taker at WrestleMania, but still, I don't think a lot of people saw anybody beating Taker around this time frame, and then fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship, one of the most important titles in the business. Man, this match all around was just very, very good, man. I really, really love this match. One of my all-time favorite WrestleMania matches ever. This may be another hot take for some people. At number 4, I have the Streak versus Career against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 26. This would be Shawn Michaels' retirement match, unfortunately, until he would come back in 2018 at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. But we don't want to talk about that, though. We don't want to digress on that. This match right here all around was just great. I mean, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, what can I say? Two legends just absolutely, you know, telling an appealing story. The Streak versus Career storyline is one of the top 5 best storylines WWE ever did. I mean, just literal goosebumps going into this match, literally not knowing what could happen. To me, this was the first time I legitimately thought Undertaker could possibly lose at WrestleMania, because I really didn't know what was going to happen. I wasn't reading dirt sheets or anything like that at the time, so I did not know what was going to happen in this match, and I did not know who was going to win, and they definitely didn't disappoint, man. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 26, was just absolutely great. But I have it number 4. Some people I know will probably have it ranked higher, maybe even number 1, but for me, it's number 4 for me. Now let's dive into the rest. Yeah, WrestleMania 27, Undertaker versus Triple H is number 3 for me. I think this is better than the Streak versus Career match. This was the only good thing, the only great thing about WrestleMania 27. Everything else was atrocious to watch. WrestleMania 27 has been known to be one of the worst WrestleManias of all time, as it should be, but this match carried the event. The entire event, this match carried. This match was absolutely sensational. I'll never forget when Undertaker made his return and then Triple H made his return right afterwards, in a shocking value, because we hadn't seen Triple H like up to a year at that point, and they had that epic stare down in the ring where they didn't even speak words, just looked at the WrestleMania sign. Woo, man, that moment right there was legendary with a capital L, bro. And this match at WrestleMania was physical. It was everything you could ask for. Triple H, when he hit Undertaker with that tombstone, some people thought it was it. Some people thought he had killed the streak right there. But my gosh, man, I really feel like this match also doesn't really get talked about enough as it should. I really think this is the top 3 Undertaker WrestleMania streak match of all time. Speaking of the game, Triple H once again at number 2. We gotta have the end of an era Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania 28. I mean, the best match on WrestleMania for sure. And this is the same WrestleMania that had Rock vs. Cena number 1 on it. Oh my gosh, the 4-year storyline between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Top 5 WWE storyline of all time. The appealing stuff they did was just phenomenal. And this Hell in a Cell match, it's the greatest Hell in a Cell match in WWE history. I'm not afraid to say it because I truly, honestly stand on that and I believe that. There have been a lot of great Hell in a Cell matches, but this one right here, when it comes to pure storytelling, match quality, physicality, without even using blood, the greatest Hell in a Cell match in WWE history. This match had everything you could ask for. I mean, that sweet chin music, pedigree, everybody thought the streak was really dead at that point. There are still some people who believe that should have been the end of the streak. Now, I believe Shawn Michaels or Triple H should have never ended the streak. I don't think they needed it. I think if the streak had ever ended, which it did, it could have been somebody that would have benefited a lot more, and those guys were already solidified legends. But nonetheless, my gosh, there's nothing I can say bad about this match. This is honestly one of my top 10 favorite matches in WWE history by far. But I can't have this at number 1. You already know what number 1 is. Now, me personally, I don't see how anybody couldn't have this at number 1. A lot of people consider this to be the greatest WrestleMania match in history, which is very understandable because Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania not only stole the show, this is a match that will forever live on in history. Like, we're talking 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years from now, 3,000, 4,000 years from now. This match will live on forever in the test of time because it's that legendary. Even the messed up botch where Undertaker dove over the top rope and landed on the cameraman and everything, it was supposed to be a different angle, different, finish right there. But that still even looked well for what the match told even later on with Shawn Michaels trying to get the countout victory, so desperate to try to get the win and everything. I mean, my gosh, this match was just great. The 26 match had the better storyline, but this by far was the better match, and I can't even say nothing bad about this match. I don't see how anybody could. Like, for me, it's number 1. I don't see how anybody can have this as Undertaker's greatest WrestleMania match ever. The end of an era Hell in a Cell match is very close to being number 1. But I still couldn't put it over this match because this match is just that great, that sensational, that spectacular, that phenomenal. All the positive words you can think of, that's what embodies this match right here. If I was going to introduce somebody to professional wrestling and I had to show them 3 matches, this is one of the matches that I would show them. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the wrestling community, I do feel like some people are going to be upset with my list. Some people probably will be okay with my list, but hey, we all have our own opinions and own, critiques of certain things. But I honestly feel like my list is valid. I do think there are certain matches that certain people will have ranked higher, which is completely understandable, 100%. Not downgrading that, but to me, I just feel like these are the best Undertaker WrestleMania streak matches in that order from 10 all the way to 1. Some people may have, some other matches in here that, I didn't name. Some people may have all these matches in a different order. Some people may have the same list that I have. But for me, it's just, I really feel like this is the strong 10 for me in that particular order. There are certain matches that I do feel like are a little bit overhyped by some fans because I do feel like Undertaker had better matches. But nonetheless, these are all great matches, all show stealers. Undertaker, honestly, we need to start having the conversation if maybe Undertaker is Mr. WrestleMania. I know Shawn Michaels has that nickname because he put on bangers after banger after banger, at WrestleMania, especially in the Ruthless Aggression era. He had 0 misses in the Ruthless Aggression era from WrestleMania 19 all the way to WrestleMania 24. But Undertaker with that legendary streak, then, progressively getting better as he got older with WrestleMania matches. I don't know, man. Maybe Undertaker is the true Mr. WrestleMania. Who knows, though, man? Shawn Michaels has that nickname attached to him. But that's my list, man. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, comment below, turn on the notification to be updated for future content on this channel. If you're new to this channel, I would appreciate the subscribe button, and I appreciate you for tuning in to see more content that I do, and to also be updated for the wrestling podcast that I do. Yes, we have a wrestling podcast on this page, the No Name Wrestling Podcast. We go live every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern time zone. And we also allow some of the viewers to come on and engage in debate if they want to come on and chat. Because some people, sometimes don't like the opinions that you have, or they want to come in and put in their 2 cents. They want to come in and just be a part of the show. We allow all that. We allow debates, friendly debates, none, negativity or anything, but we allow friendly debates. We allow people to come in and just feel like they're a part of something. Some people have, no friends who watch wrestling, and some people kind of feel, out of the loop when it comes to being in the wrestling community. We allow people to come on and engage and chat and stuff, man, during the open mic episode. So make sure you be on the lookout for that. Greatly appreciate the support, man. And let me know how you guys feel about my overall Undertaker WrestleMania streak list. Valid? Not valid.